In 1963, a blue police box appeared on the small lives. Some continued to shine brightly. Some chose a quieter path. And there were also those who had to stop their journey in tragedy. Let us look back at the tumultuous journey of the cast that brought the soul to Doctor Who. William Hartnell, in Doctor Who. The first Doctor was an enigma. Initially, he was a cantankerous, mysterious, and somewhat frightening figure, a grandfather from the stars, ever wary of his reluctant human companions. William Hartnell's performance at the time, at age 55, brilliantly portrayed a character who was both erudite and aloof, laying the foundation for the entire legacy. Gradually, through their adventures, his tough exterior melted away, revealing a kind heart and extraordinary courage. Before stepping into the TARDIS, William Hartnell was already a seasoned stage and film actor. He had a humble beginning born out of wedlock and later taken in by an art connoisseur. He started his career with small roles in Shakespearean theater, then became known for comedy and especially for tough, gritty roles, often as stern military figures or criminals in films like This Sporting Life. It was this image of an older man, somewhat stern yet exuding wisdom, that convinced the producers he was the Doctor. However, throughout his time on the series, he faced an enemy, more relentless than any Dalek: arteriosclerosis, a disease that severely affected his memory and his ability to learn his lines. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of the Doctor strangely mirrored his own life while, on screen, the character was growing weaker, more tired, and ultimately had to regenerate to continue his journey. In real life, William Hartnell was also battling his own declining health. The departure of the first Doctor on screen was a tragic reflection of the real-life struggle of the actor who created him. However, that courageous journey had to come to an end. After leaving the series, his health continued to decline. On April 23, 1975. William Hartnell passed away at the age of 67 following the aftermath of several strokes. His passing left a great void. The legacy he left behind is not just the original Doctor, but the life story of a man who laid the first stone of a legend, even as he himself was facing the darkness. Patrick Troughton. When the first Doctor fell, a television miracle occurred. He regenerated, and the second Doctor appeared a complete opposite. A cosmic hobo with tousled, hair-baggy clothes and a recorder in his hand. Patrick Troughton's performance at the time, at age 46, brilliantly portrayed a character who was at once comical and clever, with a deep intelligence and a hidden sadness. He did the unthinkable. He replaced an icon and made the role his own, establishing the golden rule of the series, that change is its core. Before becoming the Doctor, Patrick Troughton was a classically trained stage actor and a Royal Navy veteran of World War II. He was a respected character actor who could disappear into any role. After leaving Doctor Who, after 3 years, he continued to have a prolific career, appearing in many classic horror and adventure films like The Omen and Sinbad and The Eye of the Tiger. He was a tireless worker, but also an intensely private person. He had a complex personal life, maintaining 2 separate families for many years, a fact very few knew while he was alive. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of the second Doctor was a true reflection of the man himself. While on screen, the character was someone who always hid his intelligence behind a foolish exterior, a master of disguise in real life. Patrick Troughton was the same. He concealed a complex personal life behind the image of a professional and discreet character actor. However, that energetic and mysterious journey had to come to an abrupt end. He was one of the first actors to enthusiastically attend fan conventions. On March 28, 1987, while attending a science fiction convention in Columbus, Georgia, Patrick Troughton passed away at the age of 67 from a heart attack. His passing left a great void. The legacy he left behind is not just the beloved second Doctor, but the life story of a master of acting who lived a life full of roles both on and off the screen. Jon Pertwee. After the cosmic hobo came a man of action. The third Doctor, exiled to Earth by the Time Lords, became a sci-fi. James Bond with his velvet smoking jackets, vintage roadsters, and Venusian Aikido. He was a completely new kind of Dr. Jon Pertwee's performance at the time at age 51 brilliantly. Portrayed a character who was dapper, brilliant, and always ready to leap into danger. He was the first Doctor to appear in color, and he brought an explosion of style to the series. Before Doctor Who, Jon Pertwee was already a famous star of radio and comedy theater, especially with the series The Navy Lark. He came from a theatrical family, but had a rebellious youth, having been expelled from the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA. He was also a veteran, having served in the Naval Intelligence Division. After leaving the TARDIS, he went on to another iconic role as the Scarecrow, Wurzel Gummidge, a character beloved by children across Britain. He was a public figure, a lover of gadgets and fast cars with a larger-than-life personality. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of the Third Doctor was an almost perfect reflection of the man himself. While on screen, the character was a dapper man who loved gadgets and was always the center of attention in real life. Jon Pertwee was the same. The Doctor's love for his car. Bessie was John's love for vintage cars and motorcycles. The elegance on screen was his style in real life. However, that stylish and vibrant journey had to come to an end. On May 20th, 1996, Jon Pertwee passed away at the age of 76. From a heart attack, his passing left a great void. The legacy he left behind is not just the debonair Third Doctor, but the life story of a true entertainer. A man who lived a brilliant and never boring life. William Russell as Ian Chesterton. In the early days of Doctor Who, Ian Chesterton was the audience's anchor to reality. He was a science teacher, a man of logic and action who was initially skeptical of everything about the Doctor and the TARDIS. William Russell's performance at the time, at age 39, brilliantly portrayed the reluctant hero, a protector for his fellow teacher Barbara, and the Doctor's granddaughter Susan. He was the one who asked the questions we were all thinking, and through his eyes we began to believe in the impossible. Before stepping aboard the TARDIS, William Russell was already a familiar face, starring as Sir Lancelot in a popular series after leaving Doctor Who. He did not disappear. He went on to have a long and distinguished stage career, becoming a member of the prestigious Royal Shakespeare Company. He was a classically trained actor, a professional and a respected figure in the industry who once held a senior position in the Actors Union Equity. He built an admirable life, and his artistic legacy continues through his son Alfred Enoch, also a famous actor. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Ian Chesterton was a true reflection of the man himself. While on screen, the character was an upstanding, reliable man who always acted with a strong moral compass in real life. William Russell was the same. He lived a life of dignity with a durable, scandal-free career and a happy family. Ian's heroism was manifested in William's professionalism and kindness throughout his life. However, that nearly century-long journey had to come to an end. He lived to see his legacy endure for 6 decades, becoming the last surviving member of the original TARDIS quartet. On June 3, 2024, William Russell passed away at the age of 99. His passing truly closed the first chapter of a legend. The legacy he left behind is not just the role of the brave school teacher, but the life story of a true gentleman of the stage and screen. Fraser Hines as Jamie McCrimmon. From the 18th century, Scottish Highlands, a young man stepped into the TARDIS and became the Second Doctor's most loyal companion. Jamie McCrimmon, with his courage, optimism, and an unbreakable friendship with the Doctor, captured the hearts of the audience. Fraser Hines' performance at the time, at age 22, brilliantly portrayed a classic companion. He holds the Guinness World Record for being the companion who appeared in the most episodes of the original series. Fraser Hines' career began when he was a child actor, even working with the legendary Charlie Chaplin. After leaving Doctor Who, he did not struggle. Almost immediately, he landed another fateful role, that of Joe Sugden, in the long-running soap opera Emmerdale Farm, a role he would play for 22 years. He became a familiar face on British television. But he never forgot Jamie. He has been one of the most enthusiastic guardians of the Doctor Who legacy, participating in countless audio dramas, conventions, and always willing to share stories of his time. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of Jamie McCrimmon reflected the man himself, while on screen the character was a loyal friend who stood by the Doctor through thick and thin in real life. Fraser Hines has shown a similar loyalty to the Doctor Who legacy and its fans. He never saw the role as a burden but as an honor, and has become a wonderful ambassador for his era. Today, at the age of 81, Fraser Hines is still continuing his acting career and is a living legend in the fan community. His journey is a testament to a durable career, a life dedicated to art and the ability to embrace the legacy that made his name with great reverence. Katy Manning as Jo Grant. When the third Doctor was exiled to Earth, he got a new companion at Unit Jo Grant. Initially somewhat clumsy and naive, Jo had a heart of gold and boundless loyalty. Katy Manning's performance at the time, at age 25, gracefully portrayed a young woman coming into her own, her relationship with Ship. The third Doctor was like a father-daughter bond, and her journey from a lab assistant to a brave activist is one of the most beloved character arcs. After leaving Doctor Who, Katy Manning's life was an adventure no less than her characters. She moved to Australia to raise her twin children and had a successful stage career there. She has lived in many places from Australia to America and back to England. She is a free spirit, unafraid of challenges, which was famously demonstrated by her nude photo shoot with a Dalek. And then, like Elizabeth Sladen, she had a spectacular comeback reprising the role of Jo Grant in the Sarah Jane Adventures, a moment that made millions of fans burst with joy. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. It seems the role of Jo Grant strangely mirrored her life. While on screen, Jo left the Doctor to start her own adventures, traveling the world to protect the environment in real life. Katy Manning also left Britain to start a new life on another continent. Jo's optimistic, fun-loving, and somewhat rebellious spirit is the very essence of Katy. Today, at the age of 79, Katy Manning is still a boundless source of energy. She is still actively acting, participating in fan events, and always bringing a smile to everyone around her. Her journey is proof that the adventure never ends, and that you can bring the spirit of a Doctor's companion into your own real life. Nicholas Courtney. In Doctor Who, Brigadier Lethbridge. Stewart was a steady rock. He was the soldier, the commander of unit, and the Doctor's most reliable friend on Earth. Nicholas Courtney's performance brilliantly portrayed a quintessential English gentleman, at once stern and brave, with an extraordinary patience for the Doctor's eccentricities. Nicholas Courtney's career was intertwined with Doctor Who for decades. He was one of the few actors to have worked with multiple incarnations of the Doctor, becoming an indispensable part of the Doctor Who family. He was a dear friend to many of the actors and a beloved figure at conventions. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the role of the Brigadier reflected the man himself while on screen. The character was loyal, reliable, and a constant presence through the years in real life. Nicholas Courtney was also a constant in the Doctor Who community, someone everyone could always count on. However, that journey of loyalty and dignity had to come to an end. On February 22, 2011, Nicholas Courtney passed away at the age of 81 from cancer. His passing left a great void. The legacy he left behind is not just the immortal Brigadier, but a life story of loyalty and kindness. Jacqueline Hill as Barbara Wright. Alongside the science teacher Ian was Barbara Wright, a history teacher. She was the heart and intellect of the first TARDIS team. Intelligent, kind, and full of compassion, Barbara was often the moral compass of the group. Jacqueline Hill's performance at the time, at age 34, brilliantly portrayed a strong and resourceful woman who was no damsel in distress, but a hero in her own right, confronting Roman emperors and Aztec warriors with her intellect. Before Doctor Who, Jacqueline Hill was already a respected stage and television actress. She had a difficult childhood, orphaned at a young age, and having to leave school early, but she overcame it all to win a scholarship to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, RADA. After leaving the series at the height of her fame, she made an admirable decision. She put her acting career on hold to focus on raising her family. It was a brave choice, placing love above the limelight. Many years later, in the late 70s, she decided to return to acting and even appeared in another Doctor Who story, Meglos, in a completely new role. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. It seems the role of Barbara Wright strangely mirrored her life. Well, on screen, the character often played the motherly, caring role for the group in real life. Jacqueline Hill truly chose the role of mother as her top priority. The strength and decisiveness that Barbara showed on screen was the same inner strength that helped her make the most important decisions in her own life. However, that promising return was not to last long. She had to face a quiet battle with cancer. On February 18, 1993, Jacqueline Hill passed away at the age of 63. Her passing left a great void. The legacy she left behind is not just one of the most intelligent and strong companions, but the life story of a woman who defined success on her own terms. Tom Baker. After the man of action came a bohemian alien, the Fourth Doctor, with his endlessly long scarf, curly hair, wide eyes, and an unpredictable grin became the most iconic image of the Doctor for an entire generation. Tom Baker's performance at the time, at age 40, hauntingly portrayed a creature who was warm and funny, yet also deeply alien and unpredictable. He was the longest reigning Doctor, and during his 7 years, he took the series to the height of its international fame. Tom Baker's life was as strange and unique as his character. Growing up in a poor family in Liverpool, he left school at 15 to become a monk 6 years. Later, he left the monastery, served in the army, and only then found his way into acting. Before becoming the Doctor, he had notable film roles including Rasputin, but his career had stalled to the point where he was working as a construction laborer right before he got the role of a lifetime after. Leaving the series, he had a complicated relationship with his legacy, but eventually embraced it. He became a beloved voiceover artist, especially as the narrator for the comedy series Little Britain. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and his life. It seems the line between the Fourth Doctor and Tom Baker himself seemed almost non-existent. While on screen, the character was eccentric, unpredictable, and had a unique view of the universe in real life. Tom Baker is the same. The Doctor's surreal humor, sharp intelligence, and somewhat eccentric personality are the very things people say about Tom Baker. Today, at the age of 91, Tom Baker is still continuing his voice acting career. His journey is a testament to the power of being different, the ability to turn an extraordinary life into an extraordinary performance, and he continues to inspire future generations. Elizabeth Sladen. In Doctor Who, Sarah Jane Smith wasn't just a companion. She was the icon. She was a feminist journalist, intelligent, brave, and never the Doctor's inferior. Elizabeth Sladen's performance at the time, at age 28, brilliantly portrayed an independent woman who redefined the role of the companion and became the most beloved of all time. After leaving the TARDIS, Elizabeth Sladen focused on her family life, but she never truly left the world of the Doctor. She returned for many special occasions, and then something magical happened. In 2006, she reappeared in the new Doctor Who series, and the fan reaction was so overwhelming that she was given her own spin-off series, The Sarah Jane Adventures, a brilliantly successful show that introduced her to a whole new generation of fans. The most thought-provoking thing is the connection between the role and her life. It seems the role of Sarah Jane Smith strangely and beautifully mirrored her life. While on screen, the character was a hero who never really aged in the eyes of the fans in real life. Elizabeth Sladen also had a spectacular comeback, a glorious career renaissance proving that a true hero is never forgotten. However, that glorious and inspiring journey had to come to an end. She had been quietly battling cancer, On April 19, 2011, Elizabeth Sladen passed away at the age of 65 from pancreatic cancer. Her passing left an unfillable void. The legacy she left behind is not just the greatest companion, but the life story of a woman who became a hero for two generations of viewers.